Y'all know I had a wonderful PowerPoint ready.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, here we go. All right, so thank you guys for coming out to our what's this? Our third little webinar.
That
awesome.
is our third.
All right. And so now we just want to focus on virtual learning. We're not gonna really focus on the guidelines of foolery that just keep changing day by day.
Would they? Okay, I just want to put that foolishness they just came out with the new CDC guidelines.
Yeah, no, the Harris County guidelines that they just came out with today. It's like that. But I think we've been doing an awesome job. You know, no matter how many people come in, no matter we really want to spread it out, get some more people. So tell your friends, of course, tell your friends. All right. Of course, our ground rules. We're gonna listen respectively without interrupting. Listen actively and with an ear to understanding others' views. Criticize ideas, but not the individual. Okay. And commit to learning and not debating, and allow everyone the chance to speak. And I think that we've been doing great on our ground rules for open discussion. I hope that we can continue this month by month. You know, we have new faces. So at this time, I'll give new faces. I'm actually going to stop sharing for a minute, and I'm going to give our new faces time to introduce themselves. So we'll start with you, Mr. Underhill.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Well, yeah, I'm Robert Underhill. I'm the assistant band director at Beaumont United High School. I work alongside Mr. Mark Martin there. And actually, we were working together since we started about 10 years ago now. So we started over at TJ, and here we are now. Back at Beaumont United. This is going to be my 11th year of teaching. So I'm just happy to be back home and just ready to start this year off again, and we'll just go from there. Oh, by the way, my primary instrument is tenor trombone.
Okay. Miss Marcia, have we seen you in one of our discussions before?
No. Hey, everybody. I'm Marcia Sadberry. I am currently the orchestra director at Cardiff Junior High in Katy ISD. Pray for me, because they just finally caught the vision last night about not starting in person.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
So I have been doing some investigating because I'm still not real happy.
Okay.
But yeah, my primary instrument is violin.
Nice.
All right, Mr. Kevon.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevon Reynolds. I'm the band director, choir director, and drill team director, Stephen F. Austin High School in Houston. This is going to be my 21st year teaching.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mark.
This is not my first meeting, but I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Mark Martin, director of bands at Beaumont United, along with Mr. Robert Underhill. Like he said, we started together in 2010, so it's my 10th year, 11th year officially teaching. I've been teaching for 13 or 14 unofficially. I'm not as old as Mr. Reynolds, though.
Miss Yolanda.
We chopping.
Okay, this is my I'm Yolanda Sanders. Been here a minute, and this is my 21st year teaching also, and I teach general music in Alief ISD. I've been there for the past 15 years, and before that I did 5 years in HISD. So this will be my I'm still going, and I'm excited. I'm not excited about virtual learning. It's not my thing, but I'm excited that I'm not going into the schools with the children. Bless it. So that's where I am.
All right, Dr. D.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Daryl Singleton. Folks call me Dr. D, hopefully, as opposed to other things that people could call me behind my back or whatever. As most, I think everybody knows, I'm the interim director of bands at Texas Southern University. Since everybody's spouting this, I've been teaching since 1987.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the year I was born.
Oh
I was
my.
born in '82.
Go there.
Nobody
I
asked
was
y'all
born
all
in
that.
'86.
I started teaching in '84, Mr. D. So, I
Yeah,
mean, Dr. D.
there we go.
Pardon mine.
You ain't that old, bro.
Why is mine? Why is mine?
That old.
Why is mine? All right. And so I am Sharon Branch. You might know me on Facebook as Ronnie Branch. I am the music instructor, music teacher at Two Dimensions Charter School on the north side of Houston, Texas. This is my 5th year unofficially. I'll take that teaching. I first started teaching at Sharpstown High School. I was there for a year. And then I moved on down to elementary school, which I think that's my niche. I think I might stay there for a while. All right.
Place to be, girl.
Oh, and my primary instrument is flute. Flute.
Hey, cool. My wife plays the flute and she loves it.
All right. Good job, wife. Good job.
Oh, you know what? I don't think everybody mentioned that. I am a percussionist.
Yes.
Everybody else?
I'm
Oh,
going.
yeah. Go, my bad.
Oh, let me see if my screen works. Click. All right, here we go. Here we go with the TEA suggests. Y'all know I got to do it every time. So the key thing I want to focus on is this sentence right here. They say after the first 4 weeks, the school system can continue to limit access to on-campus instruction for an additional 4 weeks. Oh, and this first sentence, school systems will not be able to temporarily limit access to on-campus instruction for the first 4 weeks of school. Of course, we know there are some districts that are just not listening to that. My own.
Church say
Yeah,
amen.
but Harris County ruled today. Judge Hidalgo, she mandated that all of the public schools in Houston, I think public and charter,
Harris County.
yeah,
Houston
County.
district wide. So she kind of overrode some of the districts.
Right. And so I'm hoping some things at my school will change because technically our school starts on August 17th, but the majority of the kids have a choice to be at home.
Is it a religious
So,
school?
huh?
Is it a religious school?
No.
That's what I'm saying. The only things that were exempt were religious schools. So even if your school said so, then they
I believe it when I get that email.
Girl,
Better
I'm
look at
coming.
the judge. She put
I
that
believe it when I get that email. All right. So that's just a few TEA guidelines. I know some schools aren't starting until the 8th. Virtually. Some are starting before then, virtual first, and then going forth. Some people aren't going back face to face until October. What a year we're about to have.
We start on the 6th virtually. My school,
Okay.
and the teachers go back next week. I start on the 30th, kids come back on the 6th, and we're going to be going full virtual and because I've been meeting since last week about getting ready for that. So.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna push on the UIL suggests. Of course, these probably things that you've seen. I'm sure some of these dates have probably changed around too, around the state. Some people are doing different things. But I just let y'all look at that for a minute, of course.
Yeah, it kind of varies by the county because I know Lamarck and Texas City, those schools, like, they're starting practice next week.
Right.
Yeah, I spoke with some of the directors, and but they had I know Lamarck, like I talk with them kind of often, and and Lamarck plays many Houston schools, and the Houston schools are not playing. So I'm curious to know what's going to happen with their schedule, and pretty much nobody has answers right now. But but the Houston schools, we can't have any activities until, well, we can't even practice until like October 13th or something like that.
Have they decided officially on? Because I hadn't seen this officially on you guys having spring football.
Uh, uh,
No, we football will happen in the fall for Texas schools.
yeah, but
Whether
not,
your district chooses to participate in it is a question, maybe, but football will happen.
yeah, not Houston. Like we kind of, I don't know what's gonna happen with those games. Like if they just gonna be forfeited or what. But
Most likely, if they don't show up, they forfeit. But the schedule football will.
Wow, that's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough.
yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
That look like
You're gonna
that
have some,
sound like a lawsuit.
I
you're
mean,
gonna have some angry coaches.
but Region 10, you know what Mark Martin is. I think they'll probably be okay, but I'm not sure about like, you know, the games like a Houston school versus a Dallas school or Houston versus like I was saying Lamarck, because Lamarck, I mean, I think they have like 6 games that are Houston ISD games. So I don't know how that's going to work. Because our superintendent, she said we can't even practice until October. So games can't be until at least what 6 weeks after the first practice or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just don't know.
Okay. All right.
So if I want some football, I'm driving out to Beaumont.
You don't have to drive the Beaumont. We play Houston schools. So if they forfeit, we win.
Look, I'm
If
trying to find a reason to get out the house, Prof. Come on now.
No, we actually have a school down. We actually have a school down here, Port Neches Grove, that will have no virtual option. They're starting on the first day of school.
How is that?
If you don't want to, you know, go, you're welcome to go to another district.
Whoa.
what?
Yeah, PNG has always been a little weird like that. And as someone who lives in that district, yeah, it's unusual, but it is what it is.
Wow. Parents okay with that, or has there been any pushback?
No pushback at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
They must have like one case of coronavirus.
Down here, we don't have many cases. I mean, Houston is a big city. I think Beaumont, we've had like 13 deaths. You know, out Port Neches, maybe 1 or 2. You know, different.
Okay.
Well, y'all better be happy y'all not playing in Houston schools, because if they were, you know, we bring on all the goodness.
Yeah, we giving it all to you. Giving it all to you. All right. So, just different things we need to know. I know we all in different districts. We all use different things. You're more than welcome to take what you learned from someone tonight to share it. You're more than welcome to. So tonight we're gonna talk about Schoology, Microsoft Teams, the Band app, and Google Classroom. Okay. We're more than welcome to talk about anything else as well, because I just downloaded Flipgrid and I had the question mark on my face. Okay, so I'm still trying to learn how to use that. I don't know if anybody uses Kahoot. I learned how to use Kahoot.
I can help you with Kahoot.
I learned how to use, huh?
I was gonna ask if before you get started with the individual apps, if I could say about 3 or 4 minutes worth about my approach to learning new technology.
There you go. Boom. I stopped sharing. Hello, Miss Jackson. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome.
Hi. How you doing?
We have 2 Michelles on.
Yeah.
Hello, Michelle and Michelle. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Go ahead, Dr. D.
Okay, so the first thing about new technology is no fear. Okay. Figure that any technology that's out there that people are using, they're using it because it was a benefit, and they're using it because they learned how to do it, right? I say this to students sometimes, and we're all lifelong learners, right? Everything I know how to do, before I knew how to do it, I didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
I know that seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of times when we're overwhelmed or put off or concerned about learning new technology, we kind of have to remember that it is learnable. Everybody has heard the phrase, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? That is the basis of my approach to technology and learning new programs. You are not going to be able to learn everything at one time. So approach it from a standpoint of, what is it that I need to do to get started? Get familiar with that. And then every time you use it, try and learn a different feature. So what that means is, if you have to use it in the classroom, you might need to start this process a couple of weeks in advance. But the idea is not to try to learn too much at one time. So that way, just the same way you learn an instrument, you learn it by fingering positions, right? You learn this note, these two notes, and you learn this simple melody with these two notes before you add a third note. That's how the method books work, right? That's the same way that you learn technology. So you just kind of have to calm down and approach it like that. The other side of my approach to learning technology is try to understand what the program is supposed to do. I'm gonna use Windows versus Mac as an example. A lot of people are concerned, well, I only know how to use Windows, I don't know how I'm going to use Mac. Or if if you're on an iPhone, you have to switch to Android. If you're on an Android, you have to switch to iPhone. The way you deal with it is by understanding, okay, it's a phone. What are the basic functions of a phone? So that way you'll already have an understanding of what the technology is supposed to do. It's simply a matter of learning how to do it on that platform. And a lot of times for me, when I approach it from that standpoint, it's a lot less scary, a lot less overwhelming, and I'm able to approach it with some logic with what I'm trying to do. A few years ago, I switched video programs. Yolanda's still using Vegas, the program I showed her years ago. I ended up switching to another program. I didn't know anything about it, but I knew what a video program was supposed to do. So that guided my search terms when I'm looking on the internet. How do you do this? And then you just start finding things. And then you'll start to find that a lot of shortcuts and a lot of standards are used across platforms with little tweaks. So I wanted to kind of say that before we started learning about the technology, so that when you start to ask your questions, you can kind of ask them guided towards, well, how do you do this thing? Or is it able to do that? And at the end of the day, apps are tools. Tools are simply something that we use to assist us in doing something. A hammer is a tool that helps us drive a nail. But at the end of the day, don't be confused, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to drive the nail. And this is how the hammer works. That's all I got.
All righty. All right, so before we go on, I would like Miss Michelle Jackson to introduce herself to us.
Okay, my name is Michelle Jackson.
Hello.
Hi, I'm a TSU graduate, so that's how I got in here. But I've been teaching for 19 years, elementary music, and I wasn't expecting I thought I was just gonna be eavesdropping.
No, ma'am. Miss Jackson, can you tell us what school you teach at?
I teach at Poe Elementary School in HISD.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm foraging through trying to get this
virtual world going.
Yeah, whatever this is.
Okay, all right. And our other Miss Michelle.
trying to unmute. Hey, my name is Michelle Berry, and I teach band. I'm currently at Parker Elementary School in HISD. I'm from Fort Bend. I spent most of my time in Fort Bend as a middle school band director. And I've been using several different apps. I did the TBA workshop this week, and I learned a lot, and I'm just here to learn more.
Cool. Welcome.
All righty. Okay. So can we start with Schoology, Yolanda?
Okay. In my district in A-Leaf, we use Schoology.
Do you need to share a screen or
Yes,
anything?
ma'am.
Mr. D, can you give her permission, please?
It's already open to share, so it should be open. So here we go. Let's see, this is where I want to be. Can everybody see?
How many of us use Schoology?
Does anybody use Schoology?
I have.
Okay, who is that? Mark? Mark.
Yeah, I have. I don't use it now, but I have used it.
You have used it before? Okay, so my district uses Schoology, and this is what it looks like, and you can set up your classrooms. This is my kindergarten class, and I have little discussion boards. And as you see, I use Bitmojis all the time, and I have my classroom set up in units. And with Schoology, this is the first lesson. I made a video. You can upload videos. This is my Steady Beats lesson.
What is beat?
So you do a whole little spiel about that. And then they also have, you can create little quizzes and things for them to do as well. Let's see, in the second lesson, there's a little activity, and it's a simple activity that they can do, because I did have some kids that were able to master it. You can create quizzes for the kids, and they're pretty interactive, and it's easy enough for kindergartners to use. This we did, the second lesson was fast and slow, and this is a little quiz that I did, and all it is they have, and this, what I did is the same activities we would have had in the classroom, I just put it on here. So they have pictures, and they just have to select the things that move fast. And that's it. And then it checks it for you, and it puts the grade down. So you don't, once you create it, it's done. And so it has a grade book, so they can see what they make. They can chart their progress as well. But you don't have to, once you make it, that's the hardest part, is making the actual activities. But once you do that, it's done. And it grades it, and you can see the progress of what people have done, how many they missed or whatever. So also, what I like in Schoology is that you can see how many people, this is my 4th grade class, you can see what they've done, progress, and see these are old classes that have been archived, so they don't have any students attached to them anymore. But you can also, once you set it up, it gives you like what percentage they've done, so you can track which students are going to it, how much work they've done. It gives you a percentage, and that's how my grades are based on. How much work have you done and your points of that. And when you create those quizzes, you can also say, okay, if the grade is, if they have to get at least half of them right for it to be counted. So then you give them 5 chances to do it. And if they, after 5 chances, they don't get half of it right, then that would be a fail. So you create the parameters, and they just go on and do it. And so it's a tracking guide in itself, especially in this virtual time where you don't have to check papers and things because you're not going to see anybody. You can keep track of who goes there, if they've done their work and all of that. You don't have to chase folks around and call home and do all that kind of stuff. Because I know a lot of people were calling home, but I can't call home 500 some kids because that's not how it works. So Schoology is easy for me. I put all my information on there. I used it for programs. You know how some people make videos or CDs for the kids. I just put all my music on here, and they can go and practice at home. So that's how I use Schoology. at my school with my kids, and it's good for tracking. That is it.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
observation. Now that we've seen Schoology, some of the other presenters may notice that there are similarities between how Schoology is organized and the program that they're about to talk about is organized. If you notice those things, if you could go ahead and highlight that in your presentation, because that will help people that are familiar with one platform bridge to an unfamiliar platform, right? Because like I saw a lot of similarities between Schoology and actually how Teams is set up, right? You know, so just kind of make those connections for people so that it'll kind of be easier if somebody's more familiar with one and they're trying to get familiar with something else. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kevin Reynolds with the Microsoft Teams, please.
Okay. I'm sharing my screen now. All right. So for Houston ISD, we have Microsoft Teams, and most of the groups are like set up for us. Kind of like already from the district, and then we can set up our own. So like mine, we did auxiliary tryouts for this year from Teams, and it was quite a task. I mean, so first off with Teams, we can add in the students. We can share any type of form, you know, that they need. So right here, I shared the physical form, you know, for their physicals for the fall. I can do announcements, but also we can post assignments. We can do a calendar. So with the calendar, we can set up meetings. So let's say that I wanted to do a meeting for August. Well, let's say Monday, all right. And I want to do a meeting at 5 p.m. I can say band meeting, bam, and I can type in staff members' names or student names, and then right at that time, like they would get dialed in. We can share files. I mean, it is like very good. The only difference between this and the app that we just looked at is that we can't really make quizzes or anything. Like we would have to link the quizzes in. You know, like using Quizlet or something like that, or even Kahoots. But it is good. Like it's very interactive. And what I like about this group is that what happens, you know, the kids, they get an email. They get an email trigger that reminds them, hey, this is due, or we're doing this on such and such a day. But it is kind of preloaded, like already. So y'all got any questions like so far?
Anybody who all use Microsoft Teams? Anybody using Microsoft Teams?
Have you used the app Flat for Teams at all?
What's that?
It's an app called Flat, and it's a music app that where you can embed sheet music and music for your kids. I
No,
guess not.
but I have all of my sheet music. It is saved on Google. Uh, like like what is it? Uh, Google Forms or
Google Drive.
yeah, yeah,
Drive.
yeah, Google Drive. And so my students like they have the link from Google Drive, and they just go on there and they pull up their music. So Teams is kind of fairly new for our district, because uh, 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 they our district just started using it last summer, and they only train the teacher leaders, and then when the schools like got out for the pandemic, then everyone was told, hey, get on Teams. So
Oh my Lord.
yeah, I know, right?
And it
So,
was, yeah.
so question, is
Yes,
that Flat app one of the apps that you access on that app icon on the left-hand side of the screen?
Yes.
Right.
yes, sir.
So that's what I was going to mention, that Teams has a whole bunch of widgets or other apps that you can link to it. Another thing about Teams is that when you create a team, there are different kinds of teams. For instance, there's a team that you can create that's designed for a class setting with a teacher and students. Then there's another one that's set up that's aimed at an administrative team, right? Which is pretty much how Kevon is using it. That's how I'm starting to use it with my own staff, where there's notebooks, there's a collaborative space where when I type in something, everybody can see it. And to kind of reiterate what Mr. Reynolds was talking about, we spend a lot of time emailing forms. We spend a lot of time searching for forms that have been emailed. Oh, let me search for that attachment, et cetera, et cetera. When you have whatever entity organized as a team, now all those forms can live in Teams, as Mr. Reynolds was talking about. So for instance, we're going to start using it for the instrumental faculty. The jury forms are going to be in Teams. When it's time for jury and everybody needs to put their music in to go up on the projector, that's going to be in Teams. So you can just drag it in there and everybody has access to it instantly. And it will allow you as a teacher, when I talked about the different notebooks that the people on the team have, it will allow you as a team leader or the teacher to have a notebook that only you can access. So you have things that are private from the rest of your team.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, well, for me, it's been a little confusing because, like he said, it was okay. Everybody get on Teams now, and I had never even heard of it.
Which leads me to my next tip for learning technology. YouTube. But you got to learn how to search on YouTube. The best the videos that I find the most useful for me, one, I look for short videos. Two, I look for videos that tell you how to do a specific thing on the app, as opposed to here's a half-hour overview of such and such an app, right? Because a lot of times when you see those videos, the tendency is that they're going to spend a lot of time telling you, yeah, well, you know, I bought this app and I just thought it would be a great idea. And so I figured, you know what, I think it'd be a great idea for me to do a video for it. And so, and, you know, and you got all this preamble and they're not kind of educator based. Another thing that you look for are groups of videos done by the same person, because that means that somebody has thought about it systematically and they're like, okay, if I was learning this, I would need a video on this. I would need a video on that, right? So a way to find that is when you search on YouTube and you get, and all these tutorial videos pop up, click on the person that uploaded it to see what other videos they have. Because that's another thing too. Once you find a person that you like their teaching style, you want to make sure that they're going to be able to take you down the path, right? As opposed to you get this great 2-minute video as an overview and then they haven't done anything else and you're sitting out there like with a frozen screen on your face, right? So yeah, those are just some things about that. But Teams, another thing about Teams, you need to also be familiar with OneNote because they work hand in hand as far as sharing things and all of that, okay? And Teams works on the web and you can download it onto your devices.
Mm-hmm.
But a con of Teams, it wants to talk to the internet a lot. Like when you open up this part or that part over there, it doesn't just pop up as if it's living on your computer. It has to sync. So just be patient with it and know that if you're in a place that doesn't have great internet service or whatever, that you might have a little bit of challenges dealing with Teams. But overall, it's great. You can do video conferences just like we're doing right now, and it's automatic. So in Outlook, you would send an invite for a meeting. If you do that in Teams, it sends the same type of invite that you get in Outlook, but you just tell people it's going to be a video meeting, and all they got to do is click on it, and there they are.
Now, one other kind of down part about Teams, like is that let's say that there is a faculty meeting and you're part of it, but you're not in the meeting. Your phone will keep on like going off, and you will see all of the messages. So you're asleep, and there's a band director meeting at like 8 a.m., but you're still asleep. So you just keep hearing the beep, and you see the message.
Get up.
Conversation. You like, oh, I'm not part
That's
of
a good thing for me. That's a good thing.
Well, there are people that are chatting. Oh, there are people that are chatting late at night or sending messages because they don't, like they're just waiting to see if somebody responds. And so you have like all these messages of people talking back and forth that have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of stuff.
That's too much.
I haven't figured out how to shut it off yet, but like, okay.
We use Teams in Beaumont, but we don't use it for that at all. All we use it for is a grade book and clocking in and attending.
I said, nah, none of that. None of that.
I'm talking about.
Well, see, our district, we have the hub too. Like, so we do our classes are set up in the hub, but since I'm the only HISD person here.
No, she's
I'm HISD.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So we have the hub. So our classes are already divided in the hub. So we pretty much like we can like we post their assignments in the hub, and we can do grades and all of that in the hub. But yeah, so we use the hub and Teams kind of hand in hand. A lot of work.
Yeah, Native has a hub as well, and they use the hub. I don't know if your hub is like our hub, but they use the hub especially for the elementary kids, because once you log into the hub, wherever third party you go to, it holds their password, so they're not having to log into Schoology, to Quaver, to this, to that. Once they've logged in at one time, whenever they go to the hub, they're already open. Everything's open. Everything opens for them.
Oh.
That's how it works for us.
Oh, okay. So we call it, we use Clever for that.
That's what it is.
Yes, exactly.
It's clever.
So that's what it's for. That's, everybody call it something different. We call ours a hub as well. And so
it's clever.
Which is attached to the hub. And the hub is where all your classes are set. So once it hooks up to that, all your classes are already made in there. So the students have already been added.
Okay, all right. I will speak on Google Classroom.
Where's your excitement?
Well, the thing is, our school is Google based. I even have a Google phone. My whole life is Google. I love Google. But one of the issues we found when we came over to virtual was that our administration hadn't given us privileges to do virtual learning through Google. Like we were so cut off from so much stuff. So all of us had to use our personal Google emails to create these classes, right? And so because they wasn't listening to us. They wasn't listening to us. Okay, so like what you see right now, Mark, fix your face.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're seeing right now is my Google Classroom. We all had like a PD one day after the lockdown, after the stay-at-home order. We all came to work and we worked on it together, helped each other, right? So this is through my personal email, but if you can look up here, I have a whole nother Google Classroom set up for this year that I will not be using through my personal email. So it was easier for me to group my people together by grade levels, right? But what another thing about Google Classroom is if you have a child that uses Google Classroom, their class comes at the bottom. So as you can see, this is my child's classroom down here for kindergarten, right? So oh, my computer might move slow tonight. Okay, so I'm gonna go into K through second. So in K through second, it pushes out a class code, right? So what I did was we also use something called Class Dojo to send out reminders to parents and everything. So I made like these little picture things that went out that gave the class codes for every grade level, which is why they're grouped. That was easier for me to have 3 codes and not like 12. Okay, so this is my stream. With Google Classroom, you can stream, you can tell them what's going on, just send a daily message if you want to. I can make a stream message that says, hey, your work is due, but my stream is letting them know your work has been posted, right? I needed a media release. I needed all these things. My parents can talk to me on the stream. The students can talk to me on the stream, okay? When it comes to the classwork, it's very straightforward, as you can see. When you hit classwork, you can go in. Y'all know I teach elementary, so don't be looking at this stuff like beat versus rhythm. What's that? Okay. So I can go in and I can say, give my instructions, right? It's gonna tell me how many people actually turned it in and how many people actually were in this particular class to get it. So that means during that time, I literally only had 7 people log in with their code to do the work. And so it will tell you. And some parents thought they were getting away with it. So let's say I want to go in and let me go back to join. Maybe I should go to join. So it will let me know exactly who the students or parents are. It's going to tell me the work that they turned in. So if I assign this assignment and they did it, it will speed it back to me as the student work. I can grade right then and there. I want to push edit. So within the assignment, as you can see, title, instructions, if you click add inside of the assignment, it will link you to anything that links up to your Google, your Gmail account. So my Google Drive, link, file, YouTube. And as you can see, I pulled a lot of videos from YouTube. The down part about pulling the videos from YouTube was that I couldn't pull the videos from my curriculum. So this year, I really want to get the kids deep off into our Quaver. But the Google Drive, so if you make a form or a doc, of course you can save it to your Google Drive and upload it and add it, and they can do it, or you can hit create and it'll ask you if you want to create one of the assignments for them. One thing I learned about, get out of here, this year is something that I'm hoping to be utilizing in my, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm moving all around. Is Jamboard. So if you're in class and maybe you want everybody to answer an exit ticket question. So this is just an example from our PD. You can create a Jamboard, and so Jamboard is like you give everybody the link or the QR code in your class to where they can get to your Jamboard. Once it loads, my computer's slow. And the Jamboard, it's like Post-it notes, right? So,
Like
huh?
Like the Padlets.
Yes. So you can see like this is everybody's different answers, right? And they just popped them on there. So the question was, share something that you have learned so far you plan to use. And so each one of us was able to type up from our own computers, our own personal technology, type something up and then boom, put it on the Jamboard. And so this is how I plan on doing my exit tickets this year from the classroom. And so there's just a little something about Google Classroom. I don't know really much about Schoology or Teams. I used a little bit of Teams this year to actually do some things with HISD elementary school teachers. And I found a difficulty, I'm gonna be honest, trying to get into Teams, mainly probably because I wasn't even a part of Teams. And so it kept asking me to create a whole new account for Teams, and I think I accidentally set up a school account. Let's say 2 Dimensions. I might, oops, they might get in there and see that we have an account. But I found Microsoft Teams very difficult for me to maneuver, probably because I was so used to Google Classroom, and so Google Classroom is so self-explanatory. Like, click this, hit this, boom this, boom this. So yeah, that was Google Classroom. Yay.
Sharon, for your
Yes.
The Quaver, I know you said you had a problem trying to get the correct Quaver. Just use the QR codes and put the QR codes in your thing, and they can get to those same videos from Quaver.
Okay. And another thing about Google Classroom, because I remember you guys were saying that, you can connect through Microsoft Teams and probably Schoology too through any device. But not just because I have a Google phone, but I can pull up my classroom from my phone as well because I have the app. And so if I'm on the go, I can just check the work from my phone too. And I can do all the grading from my phone too. So that was really helpful, especially if I didn't feel like pulling out a whole computer.
Yeah, I know Schoology has an app too that you can, and it gives that. I like the notifications, especially when the school uses it for meetings. Like when you miss that staff meeting, you'd be like, oh, okay, oh man, it's in a couple minutes, okay. So I like the calendar thing because it'll come to your phone. Cause yeah, the meeting.
Yes. So that was Google Classroom. Any questions? Okay. All right. Mr. Mark with that band app, sir.
All right. First of all, taking down kind of the Google Classroom. Our district has the whole Google Suite. Our emails, we want to log into our email. We have to go to Google to email. We use Teams for grades to enter grades, but we use Google Classroom for everything else. Mr. Underhill is already on it. He's already shared the screen, so I'm not going to even attempt to. Thank you, Mr. Underhill. But we use the band app in coordination with that because the band app does things that I don't know if the other ones do, but it's way simpler. It's all in one place. So now with Google, you have to.
This looks like Facebook.
Exactly. It's how Google, you have to go to this app to do a specific thing, and then you got to go to Classroom, and then you have to go to Sheets, and then you have to do it. On the band app, you can pretty much do all that in one place for free. So now, and that's the best part, free. So they actually want to supplant Facebook. That's their goal. So we started. If you can scroll down, Mr. Underhill. We started into something. And a lot of our videos. The drawback for band is after like 30 days or so. I think the videos expire. But what we've done is we take all our videos and we put them on our Facebook page, and we'll put them on Google Classroom if necessary. But this is the easiest way. We can share those. Yeah, that's your face, Mr. Underhill. We can share those. I want you to go to our assignments that we did for the scale test.
I'm heading down there.
This is really like a good Facebook right here.
Yeah, they want us to supplant Facebook. That's their goal. That's for this assignment 13 and 14. We have playoff submission. We on Google they had to go. So each one of them uploads a video of themselves playing the test, playing the scale. So this was C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat scale. That was part of the assignment. Chromatic, C chromatic, stuff like that. So they actually play those things. Can we hear it?
Yeah, let me see if I can. Let me see if my sound is working. Yeah, because I was hearing the sounds here. Let me make sure my sounds are good over here. Let me see. Yes, I can share computer sound. Okay, here's one of our flu students right here. All right, here we go. Here we go.
All right. That's good, Miss Underhill. And she's a 10th grade.
Airy, but she got y'all. Okay.
Yeah, we got that eventually. So it's out there. So let me show y'all some of the features. So basically, we'll put an assignment and they'll comment with a video. They can just do that on the app. Our school is thinking about getting smart music, but until then, this is our best alternative. So exit out of that, Mr. Underhill, if you don't mind. Another feature is if you go to the top of the page, we have our notices. So click on that Bandcamp notice. We are having Bandcamp right now. It is a task. We've had 3 scares already. They all came back negative though, so it's all good. But we shut them home for 2 weeks, and they all came back negative though. But like, say look at our post. I'm sorry?
I said, do y'all test everybody, or how does that work?
No, we don't test everybody. We follow the UIL guidelines, and UIL guidelines basically says if you come in contact with somebody that has the COVID, then you can't come. So we had some of their siblings got it.
Okay.
So stuff like that. But if you go up to the first link, so this is all our information for Bandcamp. So not only do we have our links for our Rank 1 sports, which is our physical papers and stuff, they can click on it, and once they click to the portal, they continue as guests, and we can track all their physical. That's a whole different app though. You can get out of that. I just kind of want to show them. But we also have our COVID guidelines, our band leadership applications, all that. You can go down, keep going. We don't have to click on them. Google Forms, they have to sign up for all that in one place. So you got PDFs, you got links, you can upload all those things. And then you can take those posts right there and copy the URL to it and then share them on any platform you want to. So we can share them on Facebook, we can share them on, if we wanted to, I guess, Remind, but anything. All we have to do is take that URL and share it. So we can share that URL on our Google Classroom. We can share it on any platform because this is a code. So if you click on the code, you'll see that. So we share those same things to our Facebook page. He's looking at the Facebook page and all that. So Google Band app in summer is basically like a Facebook on steroids because you can upload PDFs, you can upload videos. We go live. Go to the go down to the first. The theory we had like a. So this is band camp. So for some people that couldn't be there, we have theory lessons that we do every day, whether it's him doing it or whether it's me doing it. We have theory lessons, so we put that on there. We haven't started with the physical exercise and stuff like that, but we'll have interactive theory where we go through and we teach whole lessons. And it's live, so we don't have to use the data. We don't have to upload it. We don't have to do none of those things. And once it's there, we can save the videos and upload them to whatever platform we want to. So it's like an all-in-one stop.
Are you guys using your cell phones or video cameras?
Cell phones.
Oh, right there with cell phones. It's an app that you can you can download on your phone. Mr. Underhill has, when he goes live sometimes on his computer, am I correct to say they have screen sharing and stuff on it too? Mr. Underhill?
On the, like for example, right here.
Right.
Yeah, this is when I do this on my desktop. I can do, here's the deal. Whenever you do a live video on your laptop, you have to get a third-party streaming device. I use OBS. You just gotta make sure your sound levels are okay. Now, as far as connecting other people to the live stream, I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know if it does that.
Okay, so basically, Mr. Underhill likes to do it on his computer when he's at home. So he downloaded a third-party site to where he can live stream. But if you do it on your phone, like I do, I don't use the computer. So when I do it on my phone, I go straight live, just like you on Facebook. You go to the post, and can you go to that, Mr. Underhill, where you go to create a post and show them how to kind of do that.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So at the top, it'll tell you what's on your mind.
And you can do a lot more here. Look at this.
So when you create a post, you got a photo, you have stickers, you have video, or you can go live. So you can do any of those things through the post.
Okay, so you just that you're there.
Polls, files, that's where you upload your PDFs or whatever, calendar, events, to-do, checklist. All those things that you can do on all the Google apps or any other app, Teams, you can do them on one place without having to leave the app, just by creating a post, just like Facebook. And also, if you see on the side, this is the last thing. If you see on the side, we have on the chat, exit out. Yeah, let's get rid of that. We don't want to post right now. If you see on the chat, hello, Mr. Underhill. That's our chat, so they can send us messages directly. They send it to him, or they'll send it to me, or they can send it to just the band, and we'll communicate back and forth on that. So it's like a one-stop hub for everything. As you can see, we have on the side under that, we have our files, we have our trumpet PDFs. That's all the music for the trumpets, our trombones, so on and so forth. Just files that we've uploaded of music that. Tuba, baritone, it's all traditional music. We've uploaded those to this one app.
Did you all have to get permission for music, or how's that work?
No, I mean, all the music that we have, we pretty much own. We've already bought it, so all we're doing is really uploading PDFs of it. Fair use laws, it's especially for schools. We could just, if as long as you buy a copy, a lot of times they don't bother you too much.
Fair use is basically that if you have the right to use it in your band room, then you have the right to get it to your students online, as long as it's directly related to the class.
Right.
Okay. And that also goes for books. In other words, if you would have been in the classroom and made your book available, and you could, if you can study to figure out how much you're supposed to copy out of a book. I think it's no more than a chapter or whatever, right? Yes. But if you could have copied it and distributed to your class, then you can distribute it electronically, as long as it's within the auspices of the class. That's a loose, general way of
Right.
thinking of fair use. So if he buys the music, he can disseminate it electronically.
Right. And we've even, had tutorial videos on the app and everything else. So we link everything from Google Classroom to Band app and vice versa. We link everything from Band app to the Facebook page. We link everything through the Band app. So once we do it in one place, so if our district prefers us to put it on Google Classroom, we just export it to that, and so on and so forth.
That was something I wanted to add in as well. First, understand that there is no best of any kind of app. There are two things. One is best for you.
Right.
Two is what your district tells you to use.
Right.
Those
So
are
our district allowed us, we asked them, we said, well, Google Classroom doesn't really work for what we're trying to do. Can we upload the assignments on Google and have a link to the Band app? They were like, sure, as long as it's on Google. So I would check with my district before I just started doing something different,
And that's the other thing too. If you approach your district with a solution rather than a problem, just a problem, a lot of times they will allow you to do whatever it is you need to do. Another thing is, and Mark touched on this, is being willing to use various apps to complete your package. Okay? You don't buy all your clothes. Well, most people don't buy all their clothes from the same store, right? You might go here for underwear, there for shoes, over here for athletic gear, over there for dress clothes, this, that, and the other, right? I see you, Ronnie. Yeah. She's catching the flow there, right? But
yeah.
But be aware that you might have to use workarounds, link this to that. And the same rule applies that I mentioned at the beginning. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Understand that everybody wants you to use their app. So most apps have a way for you to link or export, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, they don't want you using anybody else, but everybody recognizes the reality. Like I was amazed years ago when Apple and Microsoft finally started working together where you could use Microsoft products on Apple because you originally could not do that, right? So just be aware that you might have, like for instance, in our case, we've been using GroupMe for years for the interband communication. The problem with GroupMe, and y'all already mentioned it, is ding, 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 ding. And then after a while, those dings have absolutely nothing to do with the business of band. It's people capping on each other, it's memes, it's all this, that, and the other. So what I'm gonna do this year, my plan this year is I'm gonna let them use GroupMe for the band's social media. But the Band app is going to be business only.
Right.
So if it's a fit, see that, and I actually had people, and if you're on the backside, not the backside, but if you're on that part of that walk in this technology life, we actually had kids that were missing important information because they muted the conversation because there was so much non-business going out there that when somebody put business out there, and then about 10 or 15 posts come in about, man, did you see so-and-so in the yard? Oh man, they a fool, yada, 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 hashtag this, meme that. Okay. And they never saw the official announcement that the section leader was trying to put out there. So to eliminate that, put all the social stuff over there and put all the business stuff over here. And you just got to train the kids to deal with it. We're dealing with the same thing with Blackboard and Teams because we have to use Blackboard for the school. But for instance, in the case of our applied lessons, and those of you who go to TSU, you know what I'm talking about, there's a different number for each applied class. So when we get on Blackboard, I see 2 students in this one student in this, 3 students in that, but you might conceivably have announcements that you need for all of your applied students. And you don't want to go through trying to have to go into each one to make those announcements. So the idea we're going to use is we're going to put that on teams. So each studio instructor, I'm going to have a team with all my percussion students. So anything that I got to shoot out to all the percussionists goes there. And again, Mr. Martin also mentioned it, that they use Google for this, they use Microsoft Teams for that, and they use Band for this other thing, right? So sometimes you have to stack it, because at the end of the day, there's not going to be any one platform that does all of what you need.
I have a question.
Right. Yes.
Were y'all using, for everybody that's presented, were y'all using this before the pandemic?
We were using GroupMe, and I'd already planned on going to Band before the pandemic. Because the drum section moved to Band because they wanted to do their stuff on Band just to check it out, right? And so that was like the guinea pigs for it or whatever. But we've been using GroupMe all along. Obviously, we've been using Blackboard all along. Teams we just got into because we had to. And then, just like Zoom. It's like Zoom has been there, but now that you have to use it, now once we go back, there's no reason to let this go, because these meetings we're having right now, where we used to say, wow, when are we going to be able to get together with people all around the state and everything like that? Well, we can all get together.
Well, the reason I asked is because I know we're using Schoology, but of course we'll be using, we have to use Flipgrid and all those things, and that's fine for you with the older kids. But I'm now trying to figure out how I'm going to teach my elementary kids to use these things. Because now not only are we using them to teach, I got to teach them how to use it first. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how to, I'm already trying to figure out how I'm going to teach them how to get into Zoom and then minimize that window so they can go to it. Yeah, that's what I got to, but I got to teach if I want to use Quaver and the Zoom. So while I'm live teaching, how am I going to get them to minimize and toggle between 2 screens? I'm teaching
Right.
in the middle of my music class, but that's the only way I can get things done. So
I would make use of your search terms. Try and find well-done videos that are already made about that are tutorials that are aimed at kids. And I'm pretty sure that there's some people making them right now. They're not out there yet.
I'm thinking, I was like, Lord, I got to make this video. How am I going to?
Another thing is this: contact the company. Because I know that if I was making a video and I want to get some publicity, I say, hey, Quaver, hey, Schoology, hey, whoever, I made this video. So if you want to put a link to it on your, whatever. So just reach out, because at the end of the day, understand that all these software companies that we're talking about for Schoology and Quaver and this, that, and the other, they are not big like Microsoft. They are not a huge conglomerate, multinational conglomerate with thousands of employees and stuff like that. These are small mom and pop operations. Think about it like this. When you're at TMEA, think about it. How often is the person you talk to at the booth the actual software designer? A lot of times. Never? Oh.
I think so.
Yeah, for me, like for Poware, the guy at the booth is the guy that wrote the program. So my point being is that they are accessible. It's not like you have to worry about customer service in Nepal forwarding your, yes, I can help you with that.
So that's one, the people at Schoology, whenever I need, like when it doesn't do something that I need it to do, I can say like, why don't you have it do this? And they're really good about, you sure right, it needs to do this. So they're good about making it do what
Now I can say with Quaver, when we first started this virtual learning thing, I went through so many videos on YouTube, like, is this one gonna be right for my students? Is this one gonna be, are you saying the right terminology to get our kids from point A to point F, right? And some people was just going so fast, right? But there are a few where they're going really slow. for our friends who need it like that, right? And I tried to make one. I tried to make one through Screencastify, but the volume was horrible. I couldn't get my volume and audio to sync right. So I was just like, let me go ahead and use her video real fast. Kids won't even mind if it's not even me. It's cool.
And one last thing about an app, I kind of like what Mr. D said about being flexible with things, but when you kind of bring up, how do you teach your kids how to learn? The software, most kids know how to use like Instagram or Facebook or something like that, and Band app looks like a combination of all those things. So it was we didn't necessarily even have to teach the Band app because they already know how to scroll and how to do it. The bad thing about that is kind of what Mr. D said with the side chatter, but with Band app, again, we cut all that out. Preferences, only this person can post. You can comment, and then we can, and all that. The social media side, we've had that problem when we did Google Classroom at the end of the school year last year. It wasn't in our class necessarily because band kids listen, but in the school they were fighting, they were cursing each other out, they were setting up meetings to meet at the park, and they didn't have those controls set. So whatever app you're using, make sure you control what is said and what is not said and all those things. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My bad.
I just want to give a shout out to Mark Martin for the quote of the day: "How to teach students how to learn."
Great job.
Learn how to learn.
So I'm gonna
That was good.
I'm gonna be sharing something in the group soon that I got permission to share with you guys from another lady. So these are Zoom and Google expectations. I really think that we all could use them in our different platforms. And these are just Bitmojis. I have figured out how to put my Bitmoji in. These are hers, but you can download like in Google Chrome. You can download like up here. I had the Bitmoji extension, and you can download the Bitmoji extension and take yourself and put yourself in. I don't know if y'all knew that. But yeah, so these are just Zoom expectations, and I'll be sharing it, and or I may go in and make another one where it's blank and you can put your own Bitmoji in, or maybe you like this little nice chocolate lady, you can use it wherever you want to use it, okay? But I thought it was pretty nice because it's not just like elementary, like it's not like babyish, or I mean, it's just very straightforward with the instructions, with the directions. And it doesn't necessarily have to say Zoom, you can make it say whatever. Like this one says, Google Meet expectations. They're the same exact thing, but she just changed the name of the expectations. So I'll be sharing that in the group. I'll probably make another one that's blank, but I will be sharing that with everybody. Oh, so I would like to thank. Any questions, comments, concerns? Free open discussion. It's right.
Lots of questions, comments, and concerns, but it's about people that aren't going to change.
They don't have any choice now.
That's a good one.
Mr. D, I'm gonna need you to stop talking about me in front of my face.
That's the best way to do it. Right?
Wow.
Like basically, recently Mark Martin started a band camp.
I knew it was gonna come up.
I knew. Yeah, it was eventually. Yeah, he hinted at that before we really started. So, so how should we approach this, Mark?
I guess
I'm gonna let him ask this question first. Go ahead.
So first off, how's it going? And second
That's
of all,
a great question.
Yeah, just what are your what are your procedures like?
Great question.
Okay, let's go. Mr. Underhill, go to the band notice right quick.
We'll do, and they're right now. Here we are.
And click on the COVID guidelines. As he's pulling it up, I'm gonna kind of give you an overview. All right, right now, it's going as good as it can. We have at first, August 3rd, which is the day that UIL was telling us that we had to, start kind of requiring. Now September 7th, as far as the UIL date, and our district's pretty much following UIL guidelines. We will start online for the first 4 weeks, but after school activities like football and band, even if they choose to be online for the rest of the year, they're still allowed to come to band. One good thing about it, like I said, is band kids for the most part listen. So we've been having our masks, our distancing. We did some things. I don't know if you saw on the video where we had the floor taped off with painter's tape, so they got their 6x6 box where they stay in, they can't leave. They're 10 feet apart. All those things. And we do most of our practice outside as well. So we split them up and things like that. But if you go to our COVID guidelines, I can kind of run you down. And one more thing, we did have some close calls. We monitor every day, which I'm gonna get to when we go to the COVID guidelines. Yes, sir. Oh, go ahead. We monitor every day, and I'm gonna kind of go through it because it's easier for me to follow this instead of jump all back and forth. But so far, so good. We've had, like I said, 3 scares where students, brothers and sisters tested positive, and they had to leave band camp. I have my opinion about why they were there in the first place. If you knew your child was going to be tested today, but as far as our district is concerned, UIL says 14 days, so that's how we're rolling. We've had kids that had the virus, and they're not allowed to come back, but after 14 days, and we are requiring that they get tested after the 14 days. UIL doesn't. So this is like an extra added level that we've gone through. So the first thing, if you go to the top, Mr. Underhill, the first thing, they have to fill out all their forms on rank 1. We're not going to click on that one. But that's how that keeps track of their physicals, emergency care forms, all the clearances from UIL, all that. It keeps track of it in one place, so we can use it on our phone. If something happens, we can just go and click on that person, and we can see all the information. Second thing is, UIL says that they don't have to have a physical this year if they completed a physical last year. But if they didn't, we have the physical forms, and the physical form is actually more intense this year than it is last year, of course, because the COVID screening. But this Google document, this is one thing that I do want him to click on. This Google document, they have to fill out every day within 2 hours of them showing up to the band hall. So we show up to the band hall at 8 o'clock, so they have between 6 a.m. to 8 o'clock or whatever time they show up to fill out this form. If they do not fill out this form before they get there, we also have printed forms out. So we printed the Google form so they can actually fill it out. We keep that on record as well. You signed it. Now
I'm signing to view it. So 1 second, please.
So now there's good things about this form. There's bad things about this form. This form is very thorough. It asks very pointed questions, so that's a good thing. The bad thing is, it's as easy as them lying. Like they can lie, but the way we figure, they're gonna have to lie 30 times before, before they come into our room. And most of the time, the kids have been kind of upfront with us. Hey, my mom had it or whatever, so we tell them, no, well, just wait for 2 weeks. And that's why we've been doing our lives during band camp, so people that are either choosing to stay at home or affected by COVID can still kind of, it's not as the same as being there in person, but they won't get as far behind. So every day they have to fill this out, name, first and last name, the student ID, these questions, have you contacted anybody that tested positive? That's all the thing we're actually allowed to ask technically. Have you had the symptoms worsening cough, shortness of breath? Okay, go somewhere, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry, y'all. But temperature, if you had at least 2 of those symptoms, and they submit this. Once they submit this, if you go to the top, Mr. Underhill, once they submit it, I don't know, you can see the responses. and you can see every day that we've had it go up. We see the breakdown, but that Excel spot at the top, we can export everything. We export everything daily to Excel. It makes it for, and it says all the answers for every day. We submit that to our district. We submit that to our trainers. We actually have a trainer that's dedicated to the band. So our trainers do that. Now, upon them arriving, we have them. We have to check their temperatures and all that. All that regular stuff. And every morning when we can't check them outside because of course the sun makes your skin hotter. So about 30 minutes after they come back inside, we check them again, and we check them randomly throughout the whole time. Because you might not have a fever in the morning, but then your symptoms start developing around 1 or 2, and we're gonna have to do something different. So throughout practice, they stay in their boxes. When we're not playing, we have masks. We have those little flute contraptions where they have the shields on the flute. We're thinking about going with the if we can't afford instrument covers, to go with regular pantyhose and make our own instrument, bell covers. When we, if you, I mean, you don't have to play the sound down here, but if it ever loads, you can see how the distance inside the band hall. If you look on the screen, you see the tape on the floor. That's their boxes that they have to stay in. And we kind of, every guideline, even if it gets more lax, because at first it was 30% was the capacity for band camp on June 8th, which we could fit 93 people at 30% in our capacity. It's gone up to 50% now, but we still kind of going off that 30% guideline. We're not going to change every time they loosen up. We're just going to kind of keep. We'd rather be over cautious as we go through this. Now, honestly speaking, I think Dr. Fauci said it the best a couple of days ago. I don't know if you like Dr. Fauci. I don't want to get too political, but he said it the best. There's no way we're necessarily going to eradicate this disease. He said that we're going to have good city ordinances, like, mask ordinances and stuff. We're going to have global herd immunity, and then we're going to have a vaccine as well. But we're going to have to start kind of learning how to function with this. The rest of the world, they wear masks all the time. It's not really that big of a deal. And they kind of, if you look at any video of China ever, even before the pandemic, they all masked up. That's kind of what they do. And as Americans, we kind of maybe have to get used to doing these things. We have, you can't see them, but we have sanitation stations all around the room. Go back to the COVID guidelines so we can continue, though. Vulnerable, keep going. Vulnerable individuals. If they have underlying conditions, we ask that they not show up. We have some kids that have sickle cell. We have some kids that have different issues. We ask that they not show up. Legally, we can't stop them from showing up, but we kind of ask. Like I have one, they had COVID. His whole family had COVID except the mother. It's 7 children, 2 adults, married, still together, but they all had it. They all had it except the mother. However, they all recovered very quickly, and the mother had pneumonia, which was not COVID related. It was kind of just a coincidence. So I told him to stay home because you don't want to risk getting your mother sick. If you get a common cold, it might hurt your mother. So every case, we do go by case basis. We have rules in place like no carpooling. I mean, we can't really enforce it, but we kind of say that we go by the CBDNA guidelines as much as we can. We the UIL guidelines said 4x3. We don't have 4x3. We have 5x5. In addition to 10 feet between. So we did whatever the UIL do. We kind of go above that. Cleaning. Honestly speaking, our district told our kids to clean. So they clean behind themselves, and we have like disinfectant, like a mister that we spray every chair down every day, and we wipe them down. But custodial staff do it to a certain extent, but the district doesn't want too many extra volunteers and stuff. So we're kind of training our kids to do that on their own. So we go around and spray the mister, and then they'll wipe down with their own individual towel, wipe down their stand, their chairs, wash your hands, sanitize. So we have like 5 or 6 sanitation stations around the band hall. We don't really share equipment except for like marimbas and xylophones sometimes, but we wipe those down. Clothing, they can't use the water fountains. They can't use the changing facility. They have to come with everything already ready. But that kind of goes with what we're already doing, because we don't really have water breaks. I got that from Texas Southern. You can carry your water on your backpack, so whenever you want to get a drink, you just get a drink. We're not going to stop, but I'm not going to tell you not to drink either. So they carry their water with them, so we didn't have to kind of adjust that. We talk about hygiene all the time. We avoiding the face, sneezing, the coughing. We're training them how to do those things. But for the most part, band kids listen. We have suggestions for who should stay at home. Brass players, where we have our condensation, our water keys into trash cans. Our trash cans haven't come in yet. So we make them go outside, away from the band hall, in the grass, and empty it out there, and then come back in. So they'll raise their hand, Mr. Martin, can I empty my water key? Sure, kid, go outside. So that's how we're handling it right now. Yes, Mr. D, I think you had something?
2 things. One, a suggestion for the water key. If everybody, this is kind of nasty, but if you don't want to send them outside, have everybody bring a towel, because that'll trap everything in the towel, and they have to take that with them.
Right. I'm actually going until our trash cans come in. That's what we're gonna do. We're doing is we ordered a whole bunch of them for like Dollar Tree for $1, and they're going to be responsible for putting their liner in and taking it out. But until they come in, that may be the next best thing, I think. But it is kind of nasty, so I'm gonna give them that option, but I would still prefer them to go do it outside.
The thing is, you have an outside right there.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have, and I'm just kind of throwing that out there because you have an outside right there. Kevon has an outside right there, but in Kevon's case, and a little bit in your case, that means that they gotta, you either have to really control how they're going out there, but you also don't know who they're coming in contact with out there. And by not letting them out of your, when you don't have to let them out of your sight, then you're showing a little bit, you could say, hey, I got this under control. So that's just another way of dealing with it. Another thing is, I noticed that you have them inside of a square, and it's probably fine, but I would even suggest having them, instead of at the middle of the square, at the intersection of the tape, because that's going to keep them from moving. Because if I got a big 5x5 square, I could get up and I could kind of sit down a little closer over here, or I could get up and I can sit down a little closer over there. But if they're at an intersection of the tape, and you can use the same grid you already got, just put them on the intersection and tell them to keep their stuff under their chair.
That's what we're doing. We have a procedure for coming in every day when they come in. Their chair is to stay on the back middle of each square. So that it's on the back line of the tape in the middle of the square, and that's their mark. Because if you move it to the side, now you're closer to this side or closer to. So we want that to happen. So when they come in, they put their backpack on the back of their chair, the instrument case under the thing. Anytime we not playing. Say if we're going up for lunch or something, they have to put their instrument physically away in their chair, wipe it down, put it away under the, not on their chair, I'm talking about actually in their case, and then they'll take it out again. But that is one of the things we notice, because, kids, when they sit down, it's kind of like a table. Like, they think they have to slide the chair back or slide it forward. No, all you have to do is, we made them stand up. So you don't have to slide it, just sit down. It was funny. But we made the point, don't move the chairs. We put them there, exactly there for a reason.
And then also, of course, if you could make your documents available to everybody, because even though everybody doesn't have the exact same situation, the way that you have it laid out, so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel, as it were, as far as their documentation is concerned.
And that's
the document we're looking at, if you could share that with us.
I'll make sure y'all have access to that. I'll get with Ron and Mr. Underhill and make sure that happens. If we can go down a little bit more, Mr. Underhill, I think there's a little bit. I think is that it?
That's it. I mean, the other thing is the physical, just as an emergency copy of the physical whenever it's necessary. That's it. That's it.
All right, but it takes a lot of policing. It takes a lot because I have a newborn. So when we had that scare, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't go home. I didn't know if I had been in contact with it or not. So if my wife gets it, then how is she gonna, feed my newborn? So it is a
concern.
I am taking it very seriously. We don't take it lightly at all. But we also have kids that, honestly speaking, like I had several this summer that I had to stop from committing suicide because they are just so being at home. I don't know if you know about domestic violence is going up, child pornography, all this stuff is going up because they're at home. They're not at school no more. And so I felt compelled. Well, the district was kind of asking me when are we going to start because, we're going to football. They've already cleared. We're going to have football games. We're going to do all that. So when are you going to start? I went across the state. I went to Dallas. I stopped in DeSoto, Duncanville, different places, and saw how they were running their band camps. And I took the best of everything that they did and tailored it to my situation. I think everybody has to consider that their situation is different than mine, or mine is different than DeSoto. So we're gonna have to be creative. We're gonna have to be flexible because our state has said that we're gonna have to provide. They leave it up to the district, but the state wants you to provide both in-person and virtual learning opportunities so people can have an option. So if we're gonna have to do this, I'd rather be ahead of the game, and I'd rather grab the bull by the horns than to be running from the horns. And that's just me personally. And my assistant feels the same way, I think.
Yeah, at our school, they're actually, once they set the capacity for the room, they're removing all the other chairs from the room. So they're coming through, and I think we can put like 33 people or 34 people in the band room. They're coming and getting all the other chairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if you don't have no more people, then no chairs, no seat, no out.
Yep.
Wow. That's, wow.
Yeah, 30 people, that's something.
Wow. I know. I'm thinking about,
It's a whole
wow.
nother, first come, first serve.
Are y'all going to do it like in sections?
Actually, we're probably going to do music rehearsal in Sawyer.
Okay.
That's our auditorium for those who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've explored if we do get to the point where we're too big to be in the band hall. I've already asked the permission to be in the gym, using stands and stuff like that. If we ever get to that point, I don't think we're going to get to that point, but it is a possibility. Also, just splitting our groups up. I don't know about with music. With choir is a little bit different. I don't know, but with band, a lot of times our drummers are already split up to somewhere else. Our twirlers are already split up to somewhere else. We only practice together at a certain period of time. So I might be working with the drummers now. I might be working with the brass now. Mr. Underhill working with the woodwinds or whatever. We kind of split up. I know it's hot, but that's the best place to be because the disease does not like the heat apparently. So if at all possible, we try to practice it outside as much as possible. Now we're not dumb. We try to find some shade or something. But in Southeast Texas, it's 98 degrees in the shade. So it's over 90,
Yeah.
So that's the safest place is an open air environment. If that's possible for you. The air conditioner basically circulates the same air that's been in the room. So there's guidelines from, I forgot who it was, that said they even suggested that if you're in the room for 30 minutes, go out, leave the room for 20 minutes so the HVAC system can kind of clear the air. And then that's not necessarily feasible for us, but it is another suggestion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, let me just interject real quick. I put the documents on the group chat, so have at it.
And let's try to share it on the group as well, Mr. Adil.
The group. Oh, right. The Facebook group. Huh?
Yeah. Right.
In the TBME group, just upload the files.
All right, stand by. Well,
Did I answer your question, Kevon?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
man.
You got
I did a good
anything else?
job, man. Cause the thing is, like right now, like based on my knowledge, y'all are the only, kind of urban band that's actually practicing. And many of us we have. Sorry.
Right now. All right now.
No, that ain't COVID. I just swallowed. No, but the thing about it, many urban band directors, like we're kind of just sitting back, just kind of watching, just like, well, nobody's practicing, but so basically y'all are the only ones. So basically, like y'all are the prototype pretty much for everybody right now.
Yes, we are the guinea pigs.
Yep.
But I will say that we're not the first. We might be the only one doing it now. We're not the first. The first person I went to was in Dallas. They had like a citywide camp kind of thing. Mass band thing, and it was hosted at Carter High School, and that's where I went to kind of see how it was handled. And I mean, they handled it beautifully. They practiced in the auditorium, 6 feet spacing at all times. This is where I got the idea for the forum. So really, a lot of this, I sat down with Terrence Brock at Carter and kind of learned what they were doing. I also sat down with Alex Frazier in Port Arthur. He has not started yet, but he is going to start. But we kind of developed these guidelines as well. I reached out to the band director at DeSoto, which is an urban school. They do core style, but it's mostly a black district. So I sat down with him and kind of picked his brain for a while as well.
Yeah, DeSoto actually, their demographic changed. The school was traditionally core style, but the school was traditionally Anglo as well.
Right. My wife actually graduated from DeSoto High School. So they're kind of changing. It's mostly Black and Hispanic now. But, they just don't do what we do. So, yes, we are one of the only actual high school traditional style bands that is doing this thing. Which our style, I will say this too, our style kind of lends to it because, like, I heard this from Mr. D. I kind of got the idea from them. We moved from a two-step interval to, I don't even know, it's more than 6 feet. Because we used to have just like one arm up. We used to have one arm up, and now we have two arms, and not touching. But we figured out equal distance basically. And we've been working on, drill and everything else as well. So our style, because we do the patterns in motion style, the kind of marching style, lends to space, and instead of having these small tight groups and then having to do all this stuff. So everything we kind of do already lends to dealing with COVID. So we were already used to doing these things. So it was easier for us to make the transition. We already didn't have water breaks. We already didn't have coolers. We already didn't have any of those things. So it was easy for us not to use them, to be honest.
What about like restroom breaks and stuff like that?
We have in our band hall, we have a restroom with just one stall, right? Then we're connected to the gym, so there's a restroom with a whole bunch of stalls. But if the signage around our school is already stating only one person in the restroom at a time. It doesn't matter if it has 10 stalls. It doesn't matter if it has one stall. Just one person in the restroom at a time. So that's kind of how we're handling it, one at a time. It's already the expectations that in our band that we don't get too many restroom breaks, to be honest. We even if you don't have to go, we make you go before practice start. Every time we have a like lunch break, we make them go one by one. so that it's not as much movement. We kind of get on the internet bladder, so it's not as much movement. But we've been doing it, so it kind of, like I said, our regular processes kind of lend to us dealing with these guidelines. So now we do have it. The first time this happened to me, and ladies, maybe you understand better. But somebody came into womanhood at band camp for the first time ever, and that was an interesting thing. So
Yeah.
So that was her first period ever. So luckily, it's only one person in the bathroom at a time. So when it happened, she was able to kind of say, "Hey, Mr. Martin." Well, she went to Miss Giver. Our twirler instructor. She said, "Hey, this would just happen." She was able to deal with that. So me and Mr. Underhill didn't have to focus on that side. In COVID, so it was a lot. But so, if you got any other questions, everything that the state tells us to do as far as safety, we do. Realistically speaking, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I mean, sooner or later, somebody's gonna,
It's gonna be a first time or something.
Yeah.
And we all, and if when your district tells you that, if they tell you have to start, get ready, because we've already received so many emails about how we're responsible for thousands of deaths, and then we've already, but on the other side, we've received so many calls, emails, thank you because my kid was depressed, or thank you for giving. So be ready for the good and be ready for the bad, because like it or not, most schools are all going to open eventually, and this is something that as teachers we're all going to have to deal with. So just kind of be ready.
I like that you're doing is with the Google Forms, man, because that shows documentation and accountability. So if something does pop off, God forbid, like you can pull up these forms and say, hey, the kid filled out blank, 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 blank.
Exactly.
I'm really rooting for you, Prof. Like, I'm
rooting for me too. Like,
we're very big here. Can I elaborate on that for just a second?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Every morning, we start band camp at 8 o'clock. I get there by 6:30, so I can set up my little office outside of the front door. And I have the Google Forms in front of me, so I can see exactly who did it. I can also see their exact results. And here's the deal: some kids don't have access to a phone or the internet, so we have hard copies for them to do it right then and there when they arrive. And we also make sure we check their answers, because if they say yes on the question that says, "Hey, do you test everything on here to be true to the best of your knowledge?" and they say no, then we gotta say, "Hey, if you're not sure, then you probably need to go." So just cross the T's, dot the I's, check everything if you're doing this. And it's also at that time while I'm checking their questionnaire, I take their temperature, and if it's too hot, I'm like, "I'm sorry, not today." So far, no major cases. Everyone's been very compliant, and everyone's doing their job, and we're grateful so far. It's been going as well as it has been.
And if you can't do anything else, I suggest that everybody does this one thing: get yourself an Underhill, because Underhills show up at 6:30 before practice, when Mr. Martin is like a 7:15-ish kind of person. So get yourself an Underhill, and you will be fine.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Appreciate the love, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm serious. Like when I say, like, I'm really wishing y'all the best, man, because like y'all have to be successful. Like it's like no. Like y'all have to be, like y'all got to make it happen, because pretty much, like, if y'all don't, then pretty much everybody else, it ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry to put the pressure on you.
What
Thank you.
pressure? What pressure?
No pressure. No pressure.
But just know that you know that people are watching, man, and and we are supporting you guys, and we are
Yes.
backing y'all.
Yes.
You
We
know,
appreciate
like,
the love, man.
yeah,
That's really awesome. Thank you.
y'all got to kick butt.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Sharon, it's back on you.
I don't know who Sharon is. I
Oh,
don't know who that is. Who is that? Ooh, I don't know who that is, but okay. So that's okay. That happens all the time. My band director, when I was in high school, purposely called me shy on purpose.
All right,
I think this was a very good discussion that we had tonight. Very informative. It's nice to meet a lot of new people. I don't know if anybody saw. I know Yolanda, did you see when I tried to get us a little elementary PLC? Then I was gonna try to get a band one so that we could all get together, because like what Mark and Mr. Underhill are doing, you know, that needs to be shared, you know what I'm saying, amongst the band directors of the group, right? Because all of that doesn't really apply to us. You see what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I just looked at the chat and noticed that we're not recording.
I am.
Oh no!
Yes, it is.
Wait, I am. On my
Yes,
end,
we
I'm
are.
recording.
Yes, we are. It's been recording. Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
D
I
is
see it.
recording.
Okay, because
Someone
then
is.
we can leave this. We can put the record.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I do
But
believe.
yeah, 'cause
Yes.
then we can just add this up so people who missed it can see that it's doable.
Yes, it is doable. I'm so
Am I
proud. I'm
recording?
so proud of us because
Oh, wait,
we
I'm
got
not. I'm
through
sorry.
this good discussion. But yes, I wanted to break those out because I found that was something that was pretty neat that we've actually. I don't know if Yolanda has been into any of them or Ms. Jackson, but when Quaver does those PLCs and we get to talk one-on-one amongst each other, we bounce ideas off each other and feed into each other. So I thought that was something that could be awesome for, you know, strictly choir, strictly band. I don't know how many people will sign on, but if they knew that the discussion was strictly for how do we get started band practice in the COVID world, you see what I'm saying? That could pull them in, and I think that would be something great that we could do maybe next month. And so instead of
I start next week, so I'm all good for helping.
You did what?
I start
right.
next week. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and see, another thing is all of us have so many start dates, you know, about what we're doing across the state. So if maybe we can focus on that next month is we'll have, I'm sure Dr. D we'll have breakout rooms. So let me say that. I think that the breakout rooms will really work. If we can do it, we can all come together in one Zoom and let everybody know that we'll have a breakout room. Um, and see,
Can we start? Quick suggestion. Can we start, if we're gonna do that? Can we start advertising that maybe like 3 weeks out? You know, so that we can garner more attention. We're gonna have breakout rooms for this session and this session, and it's gonna cover these topics and kind of push that daily. How many people is in here?
10.
If
Well,
all
9.
10 of us do a week
9 technically.
or so. Well, yeah, okay. Because I'm double high. But if all 9 of us do it daily for a week or two, like pushing on our social media, I think we'll have more and more people come in instead of just not. I mean, like sharing TBME. I've been sharing a lot of stuff from TBME. A lot of people have been coming in to get what they needed and then leaving. Like, so they'll get the documents that Mr. D shared, or they'll get these documents. I even had some dance teachers a couple of weeks ago. What was that, Sharon? A while back. Some dance teachers come in.
3 or 4 weeks ago. This time I think what really may have helped is, I try to do something different every time to bring more people. And this time I posted the save the date like right after we shut this Zoom down, so people know, okay, there's something else coming.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe posting the event a couple days ahead of time, the event page itself. That could really help. But next time, yeah, definitely talking about, bringing in, especially because all of us are about to go into these professional developments, and there will be ideas thrown everywhere. And so that is something really good that we can all bring in back to TBME and push forward. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes when I'm in certain elementary music teacher groups, I wanna post, hey, come in, and then some people be looking at me like, wait a minute, ma'am, we don't even know who you are, but I still want to get the information out there to people. And you see, I bring information in. I don't have no problem bringing the information in because we need it. We all got to help each other right now, or we're gonna be like some of our other colleagues who are not teaching music. They either have been laid off, or you teaching history or reading or math. You're not teaching your passion. So we have to support each other, and that's I really have been pushing this support. I'm taking a nap now, but yeah, I really been pushing this support, and just proud of us for all sticking together through this COVID-19 from our homes.
I think if we're able to post this wonderful video, then people will actually see the validity of the meetings, and they'll see that there's actually information that you can use being discussed, and that will also draw people in as well.
Yeah, let's definitely, yeah, that part.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Underhill.
Yeah, just want to say I posted the documents on the TBME Facebook page, so it's all there for everybody.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you so much, and Mr. Underhill just joined today. You know what I'm saying? So we're growing. We definitely are growing. So hats off.
Reach one, teach one. Everybody bring somebody.
Yeah.
I text Michelle and I was like, Michelle, we're about to do a meeting. Come.
Well, technically, I'm going to say, because I just saw the ad that you posted earlier today, and I clicked on it just so that I wouldn't lose it. But I was actually doing something right at 6 o'clock, so that's why I was late. But I didn't know about it until today, and so
sometimes I don't know if you guys use the save feature on Facebook, but if you go on a Facebook post and you click the three dots over to the side where it says edit or whatever, where you would edit your post, but if it's somebody else's post, you click those three dots, you can click save, right? And then on your news feed, if you click, that's what I do it all the time. Because I lose stuff. I don't want to be scrolling. I don't want to be doing none of that. So if it's something that I know I wanna go to, I just click save, and go to different people's, not really webinars, but different PDs. I think I've gotten into a lot of different PDs. So Mark, keep doing what you're doing. Mr. Underhill, keep doing what you're doing. You are leading the way for probably everybody.
I hope we're not leading the way to destruction. Hopefully we're not leading the way to destruction, but
no, you know what? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? We're all going to have the flip up and the flip down, right? It's not just music, it's everybody's subject. I got questions right now for my own job. Like, you don't want to buy me more instruments because I got a limited amount, but it's okay. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so what you're doing is setting a tone, and it's a positive tone. And you're gonna have one negative moment, but the more positive moments, we have to push forward with that and move forward.
Yep.
We're in Texas, so everybody's gonna have to go back eventually, and that is the way. I mean, it is what it is in Texas.
Right.
You're going back to school in person, So
Yeah.
if
Eventually,
when they say no more, expect all the calls and be like, so what was that y'all was doing?
right,
Because that's
right.
where they're
That's
gonna go
exactly
to.
what's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
because I know, I don't know about everybody here, but I know probably many of us, we're parents. We're probably in these Facebook groups where we're hearing people talk horrible about us as teachers and what we want to do and what we not doing and this, that, and I had to get on the lady the other day on Facebook. Hold up, ma'am. Hold up. We want to live too. Okay? But we still got a job
Exactly.
to do. You know, and I had one lady try to separate teachers from essential workers. Right now, ma'am, we're essential workers because you want your kids to come back to school.
Yep.
Go ahead and
Yep.
essential. Just put it on my forehead. Okay? Put it there. You know, I mean, but we have to, one thing I've learned going through a couple of SEL social and emotional learning sessions is that our social and emotional health is just as important during this time as educators. So take care of yourselves, take your own temperature, take your vitamin C, your elderberry, your omega fish oils. Okay?
Ah,
Take all of that.
Hey, also, I wanted to throw out there, this is obviously more for the band people. If you all as band directors or anybody else want to get together, and I've done this for a couple people kind of at their school and everything, but just making it available. If anybody wants to get together and talk about Pieware.
Yes.
yes. Got it on my computer right now.
We can do that. All you gotta do is just let me know when, and we can take care. We can
Oh, get out of here.
How much is the traditional tool? Because Mr. Underhill has Powell, but how much is the actual traditional tool?
I don't know because we bought it so long ago. It was not insignificant.
It's gonna cost you.
It's not insignificant. It's big.
Gonna
But-
cost you.
It's gonna cost.
Hurt your pockets a little bit.
But once you buy it, every time you upgrade, it's already included. Like you don't have to pay an extra cost for the traditional tools every time you upgrade.
Okay.
Yep, and I have Power. I just don't have the traditional plugin yet. That's going to be my next step, so I can get the traditional plugin so it can actually look like it should.
Yeah.
But when I get that, I want that to work.
Right. Well, like I said, anytime, you know, or if 2 or 3 or 4 y'all want to get together or whatever, talk about that, we can.
Oh, that was
Look at that
so
number.
helpful. Thank you.
That's gonna cost you a lot.
500.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little grip.
I
My
know
Lord.
the little grip.
Yeah, that's
And there's traditional tools. Wow.
Oh, that's not that bad. That's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Well, that's the basic version.
Yeah, that's basic. That's a basic.
Hey, I'm a basic type of person.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
but the thing is, as you if you click on the drop down arrow over there by the version.
Where, here?
No, if you close, yeah, there you go.
Ooh, my Lord.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
that hurt.
that's kind of.
I'll stick with my basic.
Well, see, the thing is, the upgrades, once you get that professional, the upgrades, depending on if you catch them on sale and stuff like that, will be somewhere between $150 and $300. But also notice how many computers you get to put it on. Scroll down.
Right here?
No, scroll the page down.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the license count. Right.
Right.
Okay, so the professional.
Okay.
So you're paying for 6
It's 2,
different.
3,
Okay,
6,
I'll let you, but that's still a lot.
Right.
Yeah, but here's the
right.
thing. If you knew what this software means to a band director, they're charging you because they can, because it's worth it.
That's the
And,
marketing
Right.
Software, right?
and it's also an industry standard for all the people that are writing drills and selling
And
them.
that's the drill, yeah. Trust me, you know where I worked. I know about Pieware.
Most definitely.
So, yeah. So anyway, like I said, y'all just let me know and we can do some tutorials and stuff like that.
All right.
We'll do, bro. Most definitely.